Hey guys, how's it going? Rybrook Specialist Cars in Solihull, near Birmingham, contacted me a few days ago and asked me along to come and drive the McLaren 570S. I have yet to get behind the wheel of any McLaren. I've sat in the passenger seat of Tim's 675 LT. I'm down here with John Marcar. He is actually just about to go out and try a 570 GT, so I'll put a link to his channel below so you can see his video of that. Unfortunately, we've had a bit of bad luck with the weather. Hurricane Doris has been passing through the south of England, and our drive down here was interesting to say the least. I managed to capture this massive branch, almost hit John's car, John's Porsche, as we were pulling into this amazing hotel. I've driven a lot of very nice cars, sports cars, some supercars, Porsche 911 turbos, Ferrari 458, Ferrari FF, but I've never driven a McLaren, always been very interested in them, just not had the opportunity to try one. And I personally think the 570S is probably the prettiest of the bunch, maybe the 675 LT, but it's certainly a car that does appeal to me, and if I had a spare 150 grand, I would consider one. Right, so that's enough of me talking. I guess the next thing to do is go out and actually drive the McLaren 570S. Ollie from McLaren sitting next to me, race car driver, stroke everything by the sounds of things. First time I'm going to fire up a McLaren. So is it just foot on the brake?
Foot on the brake and then hold down the start button. Cool, and there we go. It's already pretty noisy.
It is.
Everything's set up in normal and normal.
Okay.
This is our dynamic panel, so you've got handling settings on the left, powertrain settings on the right. We can go normal, sport and track on either of those.
Sure.
This is your manual button, so obviously put the gearbox into manual.
Yep.
You happy with it in manual?
Yeah, manual's perfect.
Shift, yeah, so it's on a rocker as well, which is really good. It's good for like road driving, you know, if you're going around tight corners and stuff, you haven't got to be swapping your hands. So we'll run through all the different modes when we're on the road, so you can like feel the difference in the suspension settings and the powertrain settings and stuff.
So just pull the paddle and oh, I'm in first already.
That's it. And then the parking brake's automatic, so as you pull away, the parking brake will switch itself off,
Oh yeah, no, just point out we're in a left-hand drive car, so.
Heading towards another McLaren on a very narrow road.
Yeah, yeah, exactly, yeah. Get all the excuses out of the way. It's lovely in here, isn't it? It's just simple, but really effective. Everything's just beautifully finished.
So one of the main features of McLaren's is we've got the carbon fibre, like the monocell, which is the tub that we're sitting in. So
sure.
It's a sort of carbon fibre box, and that's what this is that you have to climb in on the way when you're getting in the car.
Yep.
To climb over the monocell, which is also then why you're, sitting quite close in the middle of the car.
Yeah, it's quite cosy.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
So far, the driving position is it's lovely. Feels amazing. It really does. I love how much adjustment the wheels got.
Oh, there we go. So at the moment we've got powertrain in normal, so the gear shifts are really smooth.
Sure.
Throttle pedal's not it's obviously it's set up for sort of comfortable driving really on the road, so you can change that straight away. We'll put that into sport. Okay, now you'll find the throttle is a bit more responsive now.
Yep, the pickup's right there,
Yeah. So that's one of the cars having fly-by-wire throttle, you can adjust how responsive the pedal is and stuff.
Sure. And is it a 6-speed or 7-speed?
7-speed box, yeah.
Okay. Have you taken many of these out on track?
Yeah, a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, we do a lot on track. Yeah. Yeah, this is really fun actually because it's got less aero than the 650 and the 675 LTs.
Yeah.
It's nearly as quick in a straight line because you haven't got as much drag.
Sure.
You've got less downforce, but then also through the corners it moves around a lot more.
Sure.
So it's actually really good fun, and a lot of customers find this car really rewarding to drive because it's a lot easier to find the limit.
Yep.
Yeah, it's a little bit easier to find the limit. Thing moves around a bit more, so you feel really involved when you're driving it.
Yep.
Which a lot of customers really like. So it's, as I say, taking it on a track day or something is really rewarding.
Yeah.
So you feel like you've
accomplished
really
something. Yeah, or felt
pushed the car.
Yeah. That's what I do. You know, people with 675s that use them as dailies or in London or whatever, like you're never ever going to get to experience anywhere near the limit of that car. You know.
Yeah, it's such a shame, isn't it?
It is.
Yeah, but this and obviously with McLaren we have the pure days where owners can bring their own cars and run them on track, and it's really popular. It's becoming a bit of a thing now, isn't it? That a lot of people are buying supercars and then actually taking them on track, which is really good to see. It
is.
I guess that's mainly because the reliability is getting so much better with supercars. You know, modern supercars and sports cars are more reliable, I guess. So so you don't go to a track day worrying that you're going to break your car. You know, it's going to be pretty solid. So if I switch it over to sport on handling now, to do that you just change this the adjustment on the left here on the dynamic panel.
Yep.
And the steering has to be in a straight line, which it is. So that's gone into sport. So the suspension's a little bit stiffer now. Our damping's a little bit harder. So mainly the bump in the damping. So you'll feel a lot more feedback from the road.
Sure.
Mainly the sort of surface of the road. We'll stiffen up the roll stiffness slightly as well. So as you load the car in corners, you'll feel a bit more load actually transferred to the tyre rather than being absorbed in the suspension. You know, so you're working the tyre a little bit harder.
Sure.
On a racetrack, you'd normally have it at least in sport mode. So as I say, you're working the tyre harder, generating a bit more grip.
Sure. And more feedback, I suppose.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, we're going to go left at this roundabout. The only disadvantage is that you're obviously reducing the ride comfort a little bit because it's a bit stiffer. So
yep.
And that's the main difference between the 570S and the 570 GT. Is that the way the suspension's set up. So 570S is a little bit stiffer. The suspension's a bit more responsive than the GT. Doesn't mean that one's better than the other. It's obviously, it just completely depends on what you're after from the car.
Sure, they just serve different purposes, I suppose.
Yeah, of course, yeah. So if I pop the powertrain into track, now the gear shifts will be a little bit quicker.
Sure.
Throttle pedal's a bit more responsive again. If you have it in auto now, it would hold the gear much longer.
Okay.
It will rev the engine right up towards the rev limiter.
And it will change down when you're coming in on the brakes as well, like
exactly,
quite violently.
Yeah, so
and you get a different display up there as well.
Yeah, and it's really cool because you get a nice big blip on the downshift as well when it's at high revs, which obviously makes the downshift nice and smooth and use the engine braking.
Yeah.
What do you think so far?
Yeah, it's lovely. Really, really nice.
Yeah. Yeah, McLarens feel completely different to other cars, I think. Do you agree? I mean, it's the first time you've driven one, so you're a better judge of that.
Yeah, no, definitely. I don't think I've ever driven anything. Yeah, well, like it just. Personally, I feel like I'm sitting over the front axle almost. I'm sitting so far forward.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah.
Which, probably isn't a new thing to someone like you that drives a lot of race cars or whatever. But yeah, it feels amazing. But it's so direct. The front end. Well, we haven't even done anything, but it just feels like it wants to turn.
We're going to keep to the left up here.
Keep to the left.
Yeah, that's a characteristic that we've got right from 540C, 570S and stuff, right up to sort of P1 GTR and GT3 level. Is that it's a characteristic of McLarens that the initial steering response is really reactive. So when you initially turn the wheel,
Yep.
the front of the car is very pointy.
Sure.
Now, when you set a car up like that, you can create obviously some nervousness in the rear. So what the McLarens do is they're really pointy initially.
Yep.
As you then approach the apex of the corner, the rear end starts to grip up. You just pick up a tiny bit of understeer, which keeps the car stable.
Right.
And that gives you the confidence then to get back on the power, because you're not generating this sort of nervousness in the rear. So it's something that's been developed, and that's the sort of philosophy with the setup in all of the cars, is that they're really pointy to get the car turned into the corner, and they're nice and stable so that you can mid-corner so you can get back on the power again.
Sure.
I mean, it's like probably hard to feel at 60 mile an hour
I know,
on the road here, isn't it?
Stuck behind a truck. But almost, very different to say a typical 911 with. I find 911s, well, the very latest ones are very well balanced, but even like the 997 didn't have the turning, very vague sort of turning, but loads of grip and stable coming out of the corner. Whereas this is almost like the role reversal in the sense that
the advantage that McLaren have had, I think, is that they've only recently started with a completely clean slate.
Sure.
You know? So with the 12C, although they've got a lot of experience in the engineering and design and stuff, but actually as a manufacturer and as a kind of a brand, as an automotive brand, it's fresh. So that you haven't got sort of purists and enthusiasts that have had McLarens for tens of years or whatever that are going, oh no, they've gone, they made these, we're going left here. It's so fresh to everyone that everyone gets in it and they're like, wow, this feels amazing. Not, that you've got no sort of
there's a lot more character and sound in here than I thought. That's the one thing I did think with McLarens that they always seem to lack. I think the 12Cs were a bit quieter, and maybe they've engineered in more sound, but this sounds great. It sounds... You wouldn't want it. I mean, I wouldn't want a car any louder or more characterful than this.
We're going to turn left up here. I mean, when everyone started going over to turbo, they were all getting a lot of bad press about noise, but McLaren have made this sound amazing. And it actually sounds even better from the outside than it does in here, It's really, really cool, the noise. It pops and bangs like mad. And, but I mean, I don't know whether you've seen much about the factory and stuff, but there's a design team purely based on designing the noise of an exhaust. So it's literally tuning the sound from the exhaust. It's pretty cool.
With this, but it's very hard. It's hard to. You almost want to drive this first on the track.
Yeah, you do. Yeah.
Just to abuse it, and then. But it does a very good job as a road car.
Actually, if I put that in track now, you'll feel even more.
How stiff it is! Wow, yeah.
Feel it over the bumps now.
Left it.
Yeah, left it.
Yeah, super stiff. Well, that was great.
Cool.
A nice little teaser.
Are you going out the GT as well?
I don't know. I don't think so. I don't know if they've got any available. Where should I stick it anywhere?
We're just reversing kind of next to this one. It's fine.
Reverse. We can try reverse.
That's it.
Press it.
Push that. Yep. There we go. And that will bring out a camera as well.
Neutral.
And then by your left knee, there's a parking switch.
Oh yeah.
Just pull that gently.
So that's that.
handbrake.
So it switches off in neutral, it stays in neutral basically, there's no park.
Yeah, exactly,
Okay.
yeah, there's no park, so...
And then just
hit that, yeah. Yeah, so...
Thanks a lot, man.
You're welcome.
Cheers, nice to meet
That's
you.
all right. Yeah, you too.
Yeah. That was my day with Rybrook in the 570S, as all the cars are pulling off now. The wind has stopped, but the rain has started, so the weather today hasn't been brilliant, but we've had some fun. That's the beautiful 570S that I was driving, a left-hand drive one. What a car it was. Didn't get to experience too much of its performance because we're obviously on the public road. Thank you, John.
Oh, you're welcome, Jack.
How was your 570 GT?
It was nice. It's a much more sort of friendlier, softer. Well, it's a GT, you know, Grand Tourer. It's a more comfortable version of what you were driving. But yeah, loads of space in the back and the front for luggage. It's a bit more soft, a bit more comfortable. Still makes all the right noises.
Yep.
But yeah,
and still very beautiful.
Yeah, you can't fault it. It's
as I say, go over to his channel. I'll put a link below, and you can see what John.
Thanks, John.
You can get some of John's probably sarcasm in there, humour. No, oh sorry, you're not. No, you're not. No.
Cheers, Rob.
See ya. Right, that's it. Goodbye, guys.
Bye. In a bit.